Alright, there we go. Alright you guys, welcome back to another U150 deck video. Today we're going to be looking over the new revamped Gyarados list. Gyarados hasn't changed a whole lot recently. It is very, there's not much to the deck. It's pretty much we call it the night march of the format. It's basically just get some stuff in and swing for one prize or two prize attackers. And just kind of go fast and hit hard, that sort of thing. It used to be revolving around the Stormfront Gyarados, where you'd have 4 Magikarps in your discard, swing for 120 for free, and because of the U150 evolution rule, you can evolve from Shiny Magikarp, Giovanni's Magikarp, and Misty's Magikarp, and still have those named in your deck, so that's what you use to evolve, and then your other 4 Magikarps just sit in the discard pile, so that you can Tail Revenge over and over again. Now, I think one of the biggest hits that this deck took was the fact that everybody plays Oricorio. And since the deck kind of revolves around having at least 4 Magikarp in your discard at all times, it starts getting really sketchy really fast for your softer Pokemon, Porygon, Claydol, that sort of thing. Your bench sitters become a lot more vulnerable, so that's why there is a lot of recovery in this deck. This deck had to play a lot of recovery anyways to keep reusing that Tail Revenge, but it is super important to have that. If you notice, there's no like Super Rod or anything like that, but you could consider playing some of that sort of stuff in here, dropping the Catcher or even like the Erica or that sort of thing. One of the things that this deck did gain big time was the Burning Shadows Gyarados. Now it is an EX, however it does take away that whole, Tail Revenge can only max out at 120. Venting Anger maxes out at 200 for a DCE. So that makes this deck still run toe-to-toe with those big GX decks. And also Howling Rampage is a great way to also combat those big heavy-hitting Pokemon. So the Gyarados line itself is just kind of good, and it just kind of has a lot of synergy with Magikarps being in the discard and just swinging for big amounts of damage. The energy line is going to be always kind of wonky because you need those double energies, but you still want a few water energies in there so that you can Aqua Patch to attack with that sort of thing. So outside of that, it's a pretty straightforward deck. There's not a whole lot to it. It's very comparable to stuff like Alolan Executor, where you really only have kind of one attacker and a whole lot of support Pokemon on the bench. This deck does have a lot of room in it, if you notice, because of the free attacking. You don't need as many energies, so you can play more item cards. If you notice, the item cards in this list are a lot longer, so these are very, very adjustable to kind of what you want to do. You can realistically do whatever you want with this deck. It is pretty open. Oh, excuse me. So, if you're worried about those Magikarps being in the discard pile because of Oricorio, you can just stream the Howling Rampage Gyarados kind of over and over again during the mid to late game. Play a trump card, use Howling Rampage, and just kind of go that route for most of the way. But yeah, outside of that, I don't think there's anything too weird about this deck. Like I said, there is a lot of item cards, so there's a lot of extra stuff in here to kind of help consistency or, just cool text that we kind of like. Pokemon Catcher, like I mentioned earlier, Erica's that extra one. Acrobike you could even drop, but there's a lot of ways to recover cards, a lot of ways to reuse those Gyaradoses. You can have your bench sitters. You even could consider like a 1-1 line of just some other bench sitter of some sort. I don't know what that would necessarily be, but generally speaking, you get both Porygon 2s and Claydol out most of the game anyways, because that's 1, 2, 3, and then the Gyaradoses. So, yeah, I think that's about it on this deck. There's not really too much other weird stuff to go over. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, have a great rest of your day.